The story begins on a dark, tense night. A woman named Violet is being attacked by her husband, Blake. He's angry, violent, and cruel. He punches her, slams her into walls, and finally points a gun at her. But instead of shooting her, he places the gun in her hands. He dares her to kill him. Violet screams in pain and fear, her finger trembling on the trigger. Then everything fades. Years pass. Blake is gone, dead. Violet is now living in Chicago with her young son, Toby, who is 5 years old. She's trying to move on with her life and recover from the terrible abuse she suffered. To help others who have gone through the same pain, Violet now works at a support center for victims of domestic violence. She's also started talking to someone new through a dating app. His name is Henry, and he works as a photographer for the mayor's office. After weeks of chatting, they've finally decided to meet for dinner. On the evening of their first date, Violet's younger sister, Jen, comes over to watch Toby. Jen helps her pick out something nice to wear and reminds her that not every man is like Blake. Violet nods nervously. She wants to believe it's true. Violet arrives at a fancy restaurant called Palette, which sits on one of the top floors of a tall building. She waits at the bar, since Henry texts that he's running a little late. As she orders a drink, she accidentally bumps into a guy named Connor, who seems friendly and harmless. While waiting, Violet is served by a kind bartender named Cara. Then, an older man named Richard mistakes her for his blind date, a woman named Diane. When Diane shows up, she doesn't look happy to see Richard, and Violet quietly watches the awkward exchange. Later, the restaurant's piano player, Phil, flirts with Violet. Cara steps in and tells him that Violet is waiting for someone. Violet starts receiving strange messages on her phone from an app called DG Drop. They're silly memes at first, and she doesn't think much of them. Eventually, Henry arrives. He's charming and thoughtful, and he even brings a hockey puck as a gift for little Toby. Violet smiles, touched by the gesture. They take a seat and begin their dinner. A dramatic waiter named Matt shows up and tries a bit too hard to be funny, performing little skits while taking their drink orders. Then things take a chilling turn. Violet continues to receive messages from DG Drop, but now the sender is using her real name. Her face turns pale. Something is wrong. The next message shows a live video from her home security camera. A masked man is inside her house, holding a gun, standing near Toby. The mysterious messenger, who calls himself the Dropper, says he's cloned her phone. He can hear everything she says. If she tries to call 911 or tell Henry what's going on, the masked man will kill her son. Panicking, Violet hurries to the bathroom and whispers for help from some teenage girls. But the Dropper hears her. She then finds a tiny microphone hidden in the bathroom and another one back at their table. She's being watched every second. The Dropper gives her a terrifying command. Take the SD card from Henry's camera. Violet finds an excuse to get Henry away from the table by pretending to have lost her watch. When he steps away, she searches his bag, finds the camera, and takes the card. It contains photos that expose illegal activities by the mayor's office. She hides the card and returns to the bathroom. There, the Dropper gives her the next order. Destroy the card and look inside the paper towel dispenser. She finds a small vial of poison. The Dropper wants her to poison Henry's drink, to kill him. Violet is horrified. She refuses, but the Dropper pushes her further, reminding her that she's already killed someone. Or did she? Back in the dining area, Violet begins to observe everyone more carefully. She questions Connor again, but he insists he's just waiting for his sister. Meanwhile, Diane storms out, calling Richard a jerk. Violet goes back to Henry, trying to play it cool. When she suggests they move to another table, the Dropper threatens Toby again. They must stay where they are. Later, when Matt is at the table taking their order, Violet hears Phil playing Baby Shark, a song she jokingly mentioned earlier. She sees an opportunity. She writes a message on a $20 bill for Matt to pass to Phil as a tip. It says, 2 hostages, along with her home address. Phil gets the message and rushes toward the elevator, but doesn't make it. He collapses and dies from a poisoned drink. The Dropper has killed him, Violet watches on her phone as the masked man at home knocks Jen unconscious and locks Henry's door shut. Violet fakes a phone call argument with Jen to cover her panic. Henry starts to think she's not interested in the date anymore and decides to leave. But the dropper warns her not to let him go. So she kisses Henry to make him stay. They go to the bar for shots. Violet prepares 2 glasses of tequila while Kara watches her. Kara clearly senses that something is wrong. Violet returns to the table trying to stay calm. Then Henry says he found her watch on the floor, which Violet had claimed was lost. He's starting to get suspicious. He leaves to get limes. Violet uses this moment to slip the poison into one of the shot glasses. Back at the table, they talk about love, trust, and difficult pasts. Henry opens up about being in a bad relationship too. Just as he's about to drink his tequila, Violet spills wine on his shirt to stop him. The dropper is furious again. Violet tries to figure out who the dropper really is. She sees Connor again, but then his sister finally shows up. He was telling the truth. Then Kara comes to Violet and quietly asks if she's okay. Does she need help? Violet says that Henry isn't the problem and asks Kara about Connor's sister's usual table. Kara says she usually sits elsewhere, at the same table where Richard has been sitting and staring at Violet all night. Violet confronts Richard, and he finally admits it. He's the dropper. He works with a criminal group connected to the mayor. Henry has been gathering evidence against them, and now he's seen as a threat. They wanted Violet to poison him. That way she'd be blamed for the murder, and Richard would walk away clean. A flashback reveals the truth about Blake's death. Violet didn't shoot him. Blake took the gun back and almost shot Toby. But when police sirens got closer, he turned the gun on himself. Back in the restaurant, Henry returns to the table. Violet hands him the poison shot. He drinks it. Richard, now feeling victorious, starts eating his dessert, panna cotta. Violet calmly tells him that Blake used to order the same thing after hurting her. Then she smiles and says, "You know what I learned from men like that? They always think they've won." And that's when she reveals the twist. She didn't poison Henry's drink. She poisoned Richard's dessert. Richard realizes too late, he's the one who's been poisoned. Enraged, he pulls a gun and fires. Henry pushes Violet out of the way and takes the bullet. People scream and run. Richard causes chaos, even stabbing Kara, who is later shown to survive. Violet grabs the hockey puck Henry gave her. Richard tells the masked man to kill Toby and Jen. Violet throws the puck at the window Richard had already shot. It breaks, and the air pressure pulls Richard out of the building to his death. Henry saves Violet from falling too, but he's badly hurt. As help arrives, he hands her his car keys and tells her to go home. Violet drives through the city, desperate to save her family. Jen is regaining consciousness and trying to protect Toby. The masked man comes after them again. Jen fights him off, but he breaks through. Violet arrives just in time. The masked man shoots her in the arm. Toby bravely uses his toy car to push the man's gun across the floor toward his mother. Violet grabs it and shoots the intruder, finally ending the nightmare. Later, the truth comes out. Richard's actions are revealed, and the mayor and his criminal group are arrested. Violet visits Henry in the hospital and brings him food. Jen shows up too, sending a silly prank message through DG Drop, pretending it's another threat. Violet smiles. Then she turns to Henry and says, "Would you be up for a boring second date?" Henry chuckles. "I'd love nothing more."